they're so far from the center in San Francisco that anything that they're just railed to maximum left. So that's why I think you're centrist. I mean I think I'm centrist. But from the perspective of someone on the far left, we look right wing.
Yeah.
They think anyone who's a Republican is basically like some fascist Nazi situation.
But what's so crazy is it's very easy to demonstrate just from Hillary's speeches from 2008 and Obama's speeches, when they were talking about immigration, they were as far right as Steve Bannon when it comes to immigration.
Yes.
Hillary was very MAGA. I'm sure you've seen that campaign speech when she was talking about if anybody's committed a crime, get rid of them. And if you're here, you pay a hefty fine and you have to wait in line. It was really crazy. It's crazy to listen to because it's as MAGA as Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen these videos people post online where they take a speech from Obama or Hillary, and they'll interview people on college campus or something and say, what do you think of the speech by Trump? And they're like, oh, I hate it. He's a racist bigot. I'm like, just kidding. That was Obama. No, actually, that was Obama or Hillary. To your point, literally the
center's been moved so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. The left is so...
The left has gone so far left that they need... they can't even see the center with a telescope.
And the danger without you purchasing Twitter was going to swipe over the whole country and change where the levels were.
Yeah.
And so what would be rational and normal would be far left of what was rational and normal just a decade earlier.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, historically, you'd have San Francisco, Berkeley being... very far left, but the sort of the fallout from the somewhat nihilistic philosophy of San Francisco, Berkeley would be limited in geography to maybe 10-mile radius, 20-mile radius, something like that. But San Francisco and Berkeley have to be co-located with Silicon Valley, with engineers who created information superweapons. And those information superweapons were then hijacked by the far-left activists to pump far-left propaganda to everywhere on Earth. You remember that old RCA radio tower thing where it's a radio tower on Earth and it's just broadcasting?
Yeah.
That's what happened, is that an extremist far-left ideology happened to be co-located with the smartest engineers in the world, who created information superweapons that were not intended for this purpose, but were hijacked by the extreme activists who lived in the neighborhood. That's what happened. They hijacked the modern equivalent of the RCA radio tower and broadcast that philosophy everywhere on Earth.
Yeah, and you see the consequences, particularly in places that don't have free speech.
Yes.
Right, like England.
Where they lock people up for memes and stuff. Literally.
Yeah. 12,000 people this year.
12,000?
12,000 arrests for social media posts.
I mean, yeah, some of these things you read about it, and it's literally it's someone had a meme on their phone that they didn't even send to anyone.
Right.
And they're in prison for that.
Yeah.
And there was a case in Germany where a woman got a longer sentence than the guy that raped her because of something she said on a group chat.
Wow. Was it an immigrant who raped her?
Yes.
Yeah. It was his culture.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He didn't know better.
Yes, I think she said something, was critical of his culture, and she got a longer sentence than the guy who raped her in Germany.
The UK, Europe, and Germany, England thing seems so insane.
It's totally insane. I actually didn't realize there was such a huge number of people that got
12,000. Yeah, far above Russia, far above China,
right?
Far above anywhere on Earth. UK is number one.
Well, things I actually, I talked to friends of mine in England, and I was like, hey, aren't you worried about this? Like, shouldn't you be protesting more? And I mean, the problem is that like the legacy mainstream media doesn't cover this stuff. They're like, oh, everything's fine.
Right. Most people aren't even aware of it until they come knocking on your door.
Yeah, until so. I mean, these like lovely sort of small towns in England, Scotland, Ireland. They've been like sort of living their lives quietly. They're like hobbits, frankly. So it's in fact, J.R.R. Tolkien based the hobbits on people he knew in small town England. Because they were just like lovely people who like to, smoke their pipe and have nice meals and everything's pleasant. The hobbits in the Shire. The Shire. He was talking about, places like Hertfordshire, like the Shire is around in the Greater London area, Oxfordshire type of thing. The reason they've been able to enjoy the Shire is because hard men have protected them from the dangers of the world. And but since they have almost no exposure to the dangers of the world, they don't realize that they're there until one day, 1,000 people show up in your village of 500 out of nowhere and rape and start raping the kids. This has now happened God knows how many times in Britain.
And the crazy
literally
thing
raping.
is,
It's right, like there's some 10-year-old got raped in Ireland like last week.
Yeah, there's literal rape
They
gangs.
snatched some kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you criticize it, you can get arrested. And that's where it gets insane. It's like, how are they not
you
protecting
literally criticize
people?
it. I think it was the Prime Minister of Ireland actually, posted on X, because after that, some illegal migrant snatched a 10-year-old girl who was like going to school or something, and violently raped a 10-year-old girl. And there was the people were very upset about this, and they protested. The Prime Minister of Ireland, instead of saying, yeah, we really shouldn't be importing violent rapists into our country, he criticized the protesters instead and didn't mention that the reason they were protesting was because a 10-year-old girl from their small town got raped.
So here's the question. Why are they supporting this kind of mass immigration? And what, is there a plan involved in all this? Is this incompetence? Is this ignoring the fact that they don't have a handle on it, so they're trying to silence dissent? Like, what is happening? Because if you wanted to destroy civilization, if you wanted to destroy Western civilization,
which George Soros seems to want to do, and there's just so there's a guy I think who I don't know if he's been on your show. Godesty?
Yeah.
Has he been on the show?
Good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's great.
He's been on multiple times.
Oh, great! He's awesome.
Yeah.
So, the way he's got a good way to describe it, which is suicidal empathy.
Yeah.
So, is that you prey upon people's empathy? So, like, well, you feel sorry for something for some group, and then and that empathy is to such a degree that it is suicidal to your country or culture, and that's suicidal empathy, because I think we should have empathy, but that empathy should extend to the victims, not just the criminals. We should have empathy for the people that they prey upon. But that suicidal empathy is also responsible for why somebody is arrested 47 times for violent offenses, gets released, and then goes and murders somebody in the U.S. That's you see that same phenomenon playing out everywhere, where the suicidal empathy is to such a degree that we're actually allowing our women to get raped and our children to get killed.
But it just doesn't seem like that would be anything that any rational society would go along with. That's what makes me so confused. It's like you're importing massive numbers of people that come from some really dark places of the world.
Well, there's no vetting is the issue. It's like It's like if there's no vetting, like people are just coming through. Like, well, what's to stop someone who just committed murder in some other country from coming to the United States or coming to Britain and just continuing their career of rape and murder? Like, unless is some due diligence to say, like, well, who is this person? What's their track record? If you haven't confirmed that they have a track record of being honest and not being a homicidal maniac, then any homicidal maniac can just come across the border. And that's not to say everyone who comes across the border is a homicidal maniac, but if you don't have a vetting process to confirm that you're not.
Hey everyone, this is Tatiana Manning, host of Real Talk with PG&E. We know small businesses are dealing with rising costs and looking for ways to boost their bottom line. That's why we're doing this show, to help customers save with simple and easy to do steps, by making sure they're on the most optimal rate for their business. So check us out on pg.com/Real Talk and all other streaming platforms.
You're not letting in people who will do some serious violence. You will get people who do serious violence sometimes coming through.
Well, especially if you don't punish them and if you don't deport them. And if you are just like, what is the purpose of allowing all those people into the country? It can't be. I wouldn't imagine that anyone in their society supports this.
Well, let me explain. So because you mentioned, for example, how much, say, Hillary and Obama have changed their tune from prior speeches where they were hard-nosed about not letting in anyone who's a criminal into the country. Having secure borders, all that stuff. So why did they change the tune? The reason is that they discovered that those people vote for them. That's why they want the open borders.
Because if you let people in, they know the Democrats let them in, they'll vote for Democrats.
Yes.
If you allow them to vote.
Which they're actively trying to do. They turn a blind eye to illegal voting.
Well, California literally doesn't allow you to show your license.
California and New York have made it illegal to show your photo ID when voting. Thus, effectively, they've made it impossible to prove fraud. Impossible. They've essentially legalized fraudulent voting in California and New York and many other parts of the country.
There's no rational explanation that I've ever seen anyone give as to why that would be the policy. Unless you were trying to just allow people to vote illegally, because there's no other reason. If you need a driver's license or you need an ID for everything else, including just recently to prove that you were vaccinated.
Well, the same people who are demanding that you have a vaccine passport and are the same ones saying you need no ID to vote. Same people.
Right, but like...
So it's obviously hypocritical and inconsistent.
So you really think it's just to get more voters?
If you want to understand behavior, you have to look at the incentives. Once the Democratic Party in the U.S. and the left in Europe realized that if you have open borders and you provide a ton of government handouts, which creates a massive financial incentive for people from other countries to come to your country, and you don't prosecute them for crime, they're going to be beholden to you, and they will vote for you. And that's why Obama and Hillary went from being against open borders to being in favor of open borders. That's the reason. In order to import voters so they can win elections. And the problem is that has a negative runaway effect. So if they get away with that, it is a winning strategy. If they are allowed to get away with it, they will import enough voters to get supermajority voting, and then there is no turning back.
We talked about this before the election, and then you literally pointed towards the camera, you faced the camera and said that if you do not vote now, you might not ever be able to do it again because it'll be futile. It'll be overrun.
Yes.
they'll keep the borders open for another 4 years, and then their objective will be achieved.
Correct. If Trump had lost, there would never have been another real election again. Because Trump is actually enforcing the border. Now, you can point to situations where there's been, immigration, enforcement has been overzealous, because they're not going to be perfect. There'll be cases where they've been overzealous in expelling illegals. But if you say that the standard must be perfection for expelling illegals, then you will not get any expulsion, because perfection is impossible.
And you've probably got millions of people that are here that are trying to be here under some asylum pretense, right?
Yes.
Like you could just come from a war-torn part of the world.
They changed the definition of asylum to be economic
Right.
asylum,
Which is everybody.
Which is everybody.
Yeah.
So
It's
asylum
bar to prove.
Asylum is supposed to mean that if you go back to your country, you'll get killed.
Right.
That's what we mean by asylum. That was what it's supposed to mean. They changed the definition of asylum to be you will have a decreased standard of living, which is obviously not real asylum. And you can test the absurdity of this by the fact that people who are asylum seekers go on vacation to the country that they're seeking asylum from. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't have to.
When you understand the incentives, then you understand the behavior. So once the left realized that illegals will vote for them if they have open borders, and combine that with government handouts, to create a massive incentive, they're basically using U.S. and European taxpayer dollars to provide a financial incentive to bring in as many illegals as possible to vote them into permanent power and create a one-party state. And I invite anyone who's listening to this, just do any research, and the more you dig into it, the more it will become obvious that what I'm saying is absolutely true.
Well, they were busing people to swing states. It's clear that they were trying to do something. And then you had Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi who are actively talking about the need to bring in people to make them citizens because we're in population collapse.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's that meme.
Yeah.
Where so many times where they start off by saying it's not true. It's a right-wing conspiracy theorist.
Right.
Then it starts. Then it's like. I think the next step is, it might be true, and then it's like, okay, it is true.
But here's why it's
And then
good.
the final step is, it's true, and here's why it's good.
Yeah.
And it's like, but wait a second, you started off saying it's untrue and it's a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Now you're saying it not only is it true, but it's a good thing, and we must do more of it.
Well, this is the thing about Medicaid and Social Security
Yes.
and people getting Social Security numbers. That
It's
were
massive
illegals.
fraud.
It's massive fraud, and it's real. And they denied it forever. And now we're finding out this is part of the reason why this government shutdown is going on right now.
Yes, the entire basis for the government shutdown is that the Trump administration correctly does not want to send massive amounts of, like, hundreds of billions of dollars to fund illegal immigrants in the blue states, or in all the states, really. And so the Democrats want to keep the money spigot going to incent illegal immigrants to come into the U.S. who will vote for them. That's the crux of the battle.
So they want to stop this. So what's going on right now is they have been funding these people. They've been giving them EBT cards. They've been giving them Medicaid.
Yeah,
and they've been even housing
and more
them.
than that, just like they were taking hotels, like 4 and 5 star hotels, like the Roosevelt Hotel being the classic example. They were sending, I think, $60 million a year to the Roosevelt Hotel, which all it did was house illegals. And it used to be a nice hotel. I mean, it still is a nice hotel. and all around the country this was happening.
And all tax dollars.
Yes.
Yeah. And
The Trump administration cut off funding, for example, to the Roosevelt Hotel and these other hotels, saying like it's U.S. tax dollars should not be sent to have luxury hotels for illegal immigrants that American citizens can't even afford. Which obviously is the case. That's insane. That's what was happening. They were also giving out like debit cards with $10,000. So it's not just about medical care.
Yeah.
The Democrats mention the medical care because they're trying to prey on people's empathy as much as possible, and then they imagine, oh wow, somebody has a desperately needed medical procedure, and shouldn't we maybe take care of them in that regard? But what they do is they divert the Medicaid funds and turn it into a slush fund for the states that goes well beyond emergency medical care.
And
New York and California would be bankrupt without the massive fraudulent federal payments that go to those states to pay for illegals, to create a massive financial incentive for illegals.
how would they be bankrupt because of that?
They wouldn't be able to balance their state budgets, and they can't issue currency like the Federal Reserve can.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it, that's the worst feeling in the world.
I don't think anybody Whoa!